Forum Entrepreneur Mastermind, Building Unstoppable Entrepreneurs with Dr. Paul Benson. Thanks for joining me today in this episode of The Forum. The last couple of months I've been talking about other pillars of success that go along with the Forum. We've talked about vision the first month, and last month we talked about creating connections. This month I'm going to be talking about actions, the action items that help us to be successful in our businesses and the type of action we need to take so that we can really move forward in building our dream. I don't know a single entrepreneur who doesn't feel busy, who is not sometimes even overwhelmed by the amount of work that it takes to accomplish their tasks throughout the day. Every single entrepreneur I talk to is just constantly trying to make things happen. But as I talk to these entrepreneurs, I often find that the actions that they're doing are stifling their path to success. And so it's not just being busy that helps us succeed, it's the type of actions we're doing and how consistent we are with those appropriate actions that really move us forward. We see how the actions impact our results in the real world in various instances. So how do we know the actions that are really going to help us get the results that we want? There's great potential in all of us. Every single one of us can make big things happen. But sometimes we don't see how what we are doing is going to impact our long-term results. We spend time doing things that aren't always the most effective. For example, some people get so focused on posting on social media that that's all they do. They're posting and posting and posting, and they're not seeing results, and they don't know why, and they don't realize that that's really a secondary action. It's not the very most important thing to gaining success. We also all have time wasters that we don't recognize in our life. We'll spend time just scrolling through social media, watching television. So how can we determine which actions are going to be the most effective in helping us move forward in accomplishing our dreams and making our vision come true and being successful in our businesses and in our life, and which actions maybe are lower quality and aren't helping us get us there like we want to? I think the first place is just to take a self-inventory. If we take time and really look at our own actions throughout the day, we can realize within ourselves that maybe these actions were just keeping me busy, but they weren't actually helping me to accomplish what I wanted to as much. Another place is from learning from others. So as we involve ourselves with the forum or with other groups, there are things that will be pointed out to us that will help us to realign our actions and get moving in a better direction. And the last place that I think is very important is for us to involve mentors and coaches and other business partners in evaluating the actions that we're doing. Because those types of people will help us see things that we're not being aware of ourselves. They'll help us recognize our blind spots or recognize that the actions we have are not the most productive. But we have to be open-minded and let our ego go a little bit if we want to receive that kind of feedback. One of my friends who's an entrepreneur here in Layton, Utah, his name is Tyler Farmer, introduced to me this idea of what I think he called it the power list. So every day he writes down 3 items that are his have to get done items for each of his days. And that's his priority list for the day. And so as he goes throughout his day and does the various things required for his business, what's most important to him is that he accomplishes his power list. And so this is a great way that I see in creating a prioritized list of getting the most important things done first. We all have a tendency to do the easiest things first. The quick little things that are maybe not the highest priority list, but they're easy, they're fun, they're easy to check off. And so we feel busy because we're checking off these things. We did this, I did that. But by having his power list, Tyler is able to very effectively accomplish the most important things first and then do the lower priority items. It's important for us also to remember that business is a marathon, not a sprint. And so as we start to take action, we need to be able to take our action in a way that we can sustain. If we get too busy too fast, we can wear ourselves out so that we can't accomplish what we're trying to do. I see this a lot in some of the people that I've coached over the years, is that they'll get a moment of motivation, they'll get excited about their passion, and they just start working super hard for about a week, and then they fall off the face of the earth. And they disappear for about a month, and then they come back and they want to start going again. And this inconsistency in action really slows down their ability to sustain the momentum, to keep going and make it big. If you think about the tortoise and the hare in the race I can't remember what the race was even about, but they had their race. And even though the hare was so much faster, because it ran ahead and rested and ran ahead and rested, that consistent action of the tortoise got him across the finish line first. And so we want to be like the tortoise, but at the same time, be building our speed, be working on our ability to have greater endurance and to increase our discipline so that we can consistently act every day to keep on that marathon, which really is what business is. If we can slow down a little bit and start to build our speed gradually, build our endurance gradually, and go through that training process, then we'll be able to speed up over time and have greater success because of our consistency over time. And so learn to slow down, but push yourself just enough that you're building up your speed and your endurance to work harder and accomplish more. Sometimes I'll work with new entrepreneurs who are just surprised about how much I'm getting done every day because I've been doing this for a long time. I've learned the action items that make me most successful, and I do them on a daily basis. And so I've built up a lot of endurance. I build up a lot of speed, and we can't judge ourselves based on what we see other people doing. We need to look at our own ability and push ourselves to improve that just a little bit every day. The reality is, every one of us has great potential to take whatever our passion project is and make it huge. I see lots of good people with great potential who have fantastic ideas, who really have the desire to make something happen. But what sets apart the mediocre from the great is the discipline of having consistent action on a daily basis. Learning what the most valuable actions are and then consistently doing them. And so when we talk about building up your endurance, what I'm talking about is increasing your discipline to stay consistent. Every time you stop, you lose momentum in your business. Every time you stop connecting with the important people in your life, every time you take a break, you lose a little bit of momentum. And so learn that discipline, because discipline and consistency is what's going to set you apart in accomplishing that great idea and making it a reality versus just talking about it and never making it happen. The other part of this, and I talked a minute ago about having coaches and mentors in our life, is learning the direction that we should be taking our business. If you were to jump into that marathon and just go running off whichever way you want, you might finish the 26 miles but never reach the finish line because you never had the map or the direction. And so having your business plan in place, having your vision written in front of you, having a business coaches and mentors who can help you know the direction to take your actions will also help you to accomplish those goals. The other thing that coaches and mentors can do is they can provide the accountability. Going back to the example of the marathon, if I'm learning to train for a marathon and I'm doing it on my own, if I have good discipline and if I continue to work hard, I can get it done. But if I have a coach teaching me what to do, how to speed up, how to do better every day, and somebody that I have to be accountable to let them know that I've done it, I'm going to speed up my results a lot faster. And so working with other people, whether that's a business partner, a mentor, or some sort of a coach that can help you see the path, help you recognize the most important actions, and then somebody that you have to be accountable to to report on getting those actions done is going to be a big part of helping you succeed faster and better and accomplishing the dream that you have with whatever your business might be. And lastly, it's very important to have realistic expectations. When I have my vision of what I want to create my business to be, I need to have realistic expectations about what it's going to take to get there. If I just jump into that marathon and start running my very first day, chances are I can't even do 26 miles to start. Chances are I'm going to make a lot of mistakes. And so we have to have realistic expectations about how long it takes to gain the success we're looking for. When I have that vision of what my business can be, or what my success can look like, it's huge. It's amazing what I know that I can accomplish if I just do this, this, and this, and make this business a reality. But there are a lot of pieces to put into place. It's going to take consistency over time. Just like training for that marathon, I'm going to have to stay consistent on a daily basis in doing my exercises and doing my running. And from week to week, I may not see a lot of big results, but if I look back over months, I start to see how far I've come. And eventually, I do reach that finish line. Business is very similar. I can see that this could be $1 million business. I can see how fast it can go, and sometimes it starts moving along that fast and then slows down. I actually saw that with the forum when I first started it. And so having that vision of what it can be versus a realistic expectation of what it's really going to take to get there is pretty important for us not to get too down on ourselves. When we see that it's not moving as fast as we hoped it would, when we don't see the results as quickly as we thought we could get them, it can be easy to give up before we reach that finish line we're going for, before we have the results that we're looking for with our business, before we make the difference we were hoping to make in the world. Start out with realistic expectations about what's really going to take to gain success. Be willing to put in the consistent effort over time, slow down a little bit to speed up, and work with those people who can help you get there and get there faster. Now I want to introduce this month's action item, reading suggestion, and 22-day challenge. This month's action item is to write down your action plan for the month. Write down the goals that you want to accomplish this month, the actions that you think will help you to reach those goals, and then show it to your coach or mentor, even if it's just the mentor who brought you into the forum. Also include in this plan the plan that you have for your downtime and even for your time wasters, and so that you can kind of have a plan on the rest that you need to take as you are taking action to make this month a bigger month. This month's reading suggestion is The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Some of you may have already read this book. It's a fantastic book that talks about how those slight differences in our consistency and our discipline make a huge difference in our results. Even if we're doing the same actions as somebody else, by doing them consistently, bigger things happen. Or by stepping up our actions just a little bit, that slight difference can make a huge result in the end. So that is this month's reading suggestion. Once again, The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. And this month's 22-day challenge, the physical challenge, is to do one push-up every day and then do as many more as you can once you're on the ground. But celebrate the fact that you got down and did your one push-up. Even if you can only do one push-up, that's great. But for 22 days straight, I want you to do at least one push-up a day and then just finish it up and see how much that improves over those 22 days. The mindset challenge is to do a gratitude list. So every day, I want you to write down one thing that you are grateful for. Just one. On day 2, add a second item to your list and read the other one. Day 3, read the other 2 and add a third. So every day you're going to add one item to your list and then review the whole list. So at the end of your 22 days, you should have 22 things that you're grateful for and something to remind yourself of how grateful you are for the life that you have. Gratitude, remember, is the key to gaining abundance in your life. And so that's part of this exercise, is a gratitude mindset exercise. The social exercise is almost the same. It's a gratitude list of people that you're grateful for. So day 1, write one person you're grateful for. You could probably think of a few, but just one today. Write a second one tomorrow. And believe it or not, at the end of 22 days, you are going to think of 22 people in your life that you're grateful for. At this moment, you might think there's no way there's 22 people I'm really that grateful for, but I promise you there are. The Abundance 22-Day Challenge this month is to do your power list. The power list I mentioned earlier in this video. So you're going to be doing 2 items every day that are your priority actions to accomplish that day. Do it for 22 days straight. Make sure that you write your 2 power list items and do them every day for 22 days. That is our actions for this month. I'm excited to see what a difference that makes as you start to put these practices into place. I'm excited to talk more about the types of actions that help us succeed in our businesses and our life throughout the month. And I hope that you will take this to your one-on-one meetings and your small group meetings as you talk about actions that will help one another as you move forward with this mastermind. So let's make March a great month and look forward to seeing you all online and in person. Have a great March. You've been listening to Success Principles with Dr. Paul Benson at the Forum Entrepreneur Mastermind Group.